Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it? You know what I'm saying? I missed you. You probably forgot about me, I'm not gonna lie. But hey, it's not that bad, because here we are. We're in the middle of a new era. I finally graduated college. Things are looking smooth. It's looking great. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. I'm trying to get back to the whole, you feel me, thing.
I know you forgot to me.
I know, I forgot. I just looked to my fucking right. Leave me alone. But yeah, summer, I guess. The whole new aspect of just games that are about to come out later in this year. We're about to have a bunch of crazy shit happening. And I'm probably gonna start streaming. You wanna catch me? You know what I'm saying? Twitch, Samurai Slagging. But peep game, right? A new game just dropped. And if you've been watching the past week, it's Wuthering Waves, a gacha game, which I'm not gonna lie, if you can ask most of the editors, I'm not a particular fan of gacha games. They're not particularly my cup of tea. I don't like the fact that I have to get new forms of gameplay by testing my luck and grinding out a game and potentially just, wasting my life away and or paying money. To just, get a new aspect of a game. But here's a little funny little tidbit, y'all. This game doesn't require me to do that, so
yeah, boy.
And you're like, well, Slack. If you don't like gacha games, what makes Wuthering Waves so different for you? Well, in order to do that, I kind of have to make a comparison. Yes, I'm comparing it to Genshin, because I said it like 14 times now. They'll probably keep count. They probably won't. Please don't keep count. But yeah, that's what it is. Genshin, Wuthering Waves, my differences between the two, my experiences between the two. Probably in the background, you'll have a lot of me doing my Wuthering Wave shit. If you're wondering, yes, I'm only using one slot to play the game. Why? Because that one slot is enough for me to play the game. This game is that good in terms of gameplay. This game is that good in terms of keeping me entertained. Because Wuthering Waves' first point over Genshin for me is the gameplay. I find it better. I don't like the reaction system. I don't really know what to tell you. I kind of just think that, at least for me, the reaction system was wasted. The aspect of combining and mixing in certain elements in order to bring big damage was a very good concept point. And I thought, at least for a while when I was playing Genshin, that it was going to be good. However, after I got through Mondstadt and that slogfest of an area, yes, I hate Mondstadt, leeway and everything proceeding towards it kind of showed me why it wasn't going to develop any further. The main problem being that the next element after you get Animo for your traveler is Geo. I didn't have a Geo character yet, so the first thing I got was Geo MC. And I was like, bet, I want to know what reacts with Geo. And then my dreams were crushed because Geo has nothing. They did nothing with Geo. So many creative ideas to do with Geo, but you gave it a shield. Why did you give it a shield, Hoyo? Explanation? None? Okay, surely there's more to that, right? But there isn't. And with Animo, it has its whole swirl thing with other things where you could kind of stack on damage of different types, with Electro and all this other stuff, and even Dendro being added on and having Hyper Bloom. That's cool. Where the fuck is the other reactions for that? And even then, the game kind of became centralized at a certain element, or at certain elements being what you wanted to use more often than not. Not to mention the whole meta thing where you would only use a meta amount of characters or the latest cracked out shit. And then that just, I look, personally for me, the gameplay, Wuthering Waves, feels a lot better. Yes, you have your own stat effects and stuff like that, but I like to dodge. I like to parry. I like to use my echoes. That's great. That's all I needed in order to give me a good combat. I am over here fucking spin moving and booming everything that's in my path. And it feels fun. It feels great. In Genshin, yeah, I can dodge an enemy's attack, but it doesn't feel satisfying. Yeah, I can look at the big red thing on the floor and be like, hey man, in brain red bad, let me move out the way. Or I could just be a fucking sponge and use Zhongli, and then, you know what I'm saying? I don't even have Zhongli, but I just know if you could use Zhongli, use ult, and then, you know, nuke the fucking field. Does it feel fun? Does it feel great? And it brings up another problem that has Wuthering Waves over Genshin for me. The artifact system. Now, I'll say this, and I'm being honest in both of these. Both are pretty fucking annoying. But let's be honest. One is more fucking annoying than the other. I hated grinding artifacts in Genshin. And for those of you who are just like, oh, you're just a baby. Shut the fuck up. No, instead what I'll do is I'll go around and kill enemies of a specific archetype and get the shit that I need like it's a fucking Pokemon battle. Thank you very much. Please. Now, the materials to upgrade it is the hard part, and that's okay. That's fine. I mean, the only thing they need to add is allowing us to use echoes that are not upgraded in order to level them up. But to be honest, in my experience with building my singular character, I haven't had a problem with that. Now, I know with building teams that can get annoying, and I know with, you know what I'm saying, as we go forward in the game, we want more and more easier ways to do that. They're already solving that. But if the gameplay is already better and the artifact grinding quote unquote is already better for at least you, Slack, what else would particularly make you more inclined to play Wuthering Waves instead of, you know, Genshin or Star Rail even? Star Rail's still an option, Slack. You don't like Star Rail? That's the thing. I do like Star Rail. But what kind of teetered me off is still that it's a gacha game. Like, I'm still kind of forced in Hoyo games to have a full fucking team because they kind of make it so certain characters just are worst as things go on. And that's not a point against Genshin. That's not a point against Star Rail either. That's how gacha games are. And that's why I don't like it. But for Wuthering Waves, you don't have to do that. For Wuthering Waves, the MC is one of the stronger characters in the game despite pulling. I don't have to pull Gion, who I'll get to. But I think that the fact that I can just play a character and still be able to complete most of the game's content, be it that there's a lot, at least for a 1.0 release for me, because when I was playing and I was still in the first area, all I could do was fuck around, run around, and basically collect mint or flowers or go into the dungeon every so often until I got like a high enough level. And let's just say this right now, and I'm getting this out the way. Both co-ops are boring as fuck. I see no reason to do co-op in either game. If Wuthering Waves adds a co-op raid function because it has good enough gameplay for that, I think it has good enough gameplay for that. If you don't believe me, I think you're eating balls. But I think both, if it just adds that, it would top Genshin phenomenally. I think if an event was just a co-op boss raid, that would be fucking fun. But again, we're talking about why I prefer the game. Why I think Wuthering Waves is, at least for me, a very easy gacha game to get into. Because it combines the fact that it's a game, an open world action RPG. When I play Wuthering Waves, when I boot up the game, when I go in and I fight the bosses and I farm echoes and I do all this stuff, after I'm done with all that, I can play that sim universe thing. Because it's, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of simulated universe. But you go in with one character and you kind of just fuck around. Kind of just do what you want. You play with any character, they all get buffed in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter what artifacts you have or anything like that. All that matters is it feels like I'm actually playing a game. Because with Genshin, you hop on, do your dailies for about 2 hours max a week, as a famous bald man once said. But for Wuthering Waves, yeah, I can do my dailies and then hop off. Or I could go terrorize an ape. I terrorize the ape. Well, you know, I could go terrorize a bird. Terrorize the bird. Maybe I can go terrorize a little alien crownless guy. Terrorize crownless guy. I might as well fight Scar at that point. And it's just, I feel like for me, at least, it's more addicting and more like, I get more invested in wanting to play this satisfying loop, the dopamine that I get from dodging and having the stakes of, at least in my particular thing that I'm doing with the solo run, the one slot run, that it's this emphasis that I'm playing with one character, and he gets stronger and stronger with the more that I play the game and kill these bosses and get all this stuff. And it's just great. While with Genshin, I'm building this shitty ass team that I'm only gonna barely even be able to use my numbers and all this cool stuff I built it for. Yeah, those big numbers are cool once or twice, but that's all I'm doing, big numbers. It's not interactive. The gameplay is not intuitive in a sense, at least from my experience, other than the fact that you're just playing sponge characters and just doing big numbers, at least in my opinion. All the things you have left, stammering aside, is the story. And that's kind of where we kind of, you know, they're about the same. I'm not gonna lie. Genshin story for me is just as entertaining as Star Rail story. Well, no, Star Rail story is better. If I had to put it in this here, let's do it like this. Star Rail story is at the top, okay? Genshin and Wuthering Wave story is right below it. That's really it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of gacha games that I've really invested my time in, besides, what, Dragon Ball Legends? Well, actually, no. Dragon Ball Legends story is peak. Put it above Star Rail. Fuck it. But yammering aside, the story for Wuthering Waves is just as okay as Genshin's is. Because for me, at least, where Genshin fails is that I'm followed around by a midget fuck who decides to explain this shit to me over and over again, and then I get annoyed and want to skip the cutscene, but I can't. So I have to sit there and press spacebar and press F and do this fucking combination of shit just to do a super skill in order to skip a fucking regular side quest dialogue. Let me calm down. That, or with Wuwa, when, you know, there's a quest that I don't particularly feel like I want to hear the story through, but I want to get through most of it. I just skip. Main story, I'll give it a smooth 7. Like, actually investing in it and seeing through the pathway, despite, you know, the whole shit with Yang Yang, it's pretty cool. It's pretty decent, especially when Scar pulls up. And while some people will say it immediately dips off after Scar is gone, I don't believe that. I think there's still a bit of tension, because now we're getting involved with this party that's actually trying to do some shit, and we're actually seeing the quote unquote bad guys. While in Genshin, all we got was Signora, and I just thought she was an annoying lady. I didn't really feel the threat of Fatui, because the Fatui just felt like Disney villains. And in Wuwa, it feels like, okay, well, we're dealing with actual terrorists now. So I'm a little bit more on edge, not because, these guys are scary, more like, this might get fun. And so Wuwa is just the game. Playing it with one character is fun as fuck. Honestly, if you catch me on a stream and I'm playing Wuwa, that's excellent, that's great. I'm back with the video, I'm doing my shit. Like, comment, do your thing, y'all. I hope you're having a great day, and see you later.